In this module, we are going to look at cyber network security concepts. Why to study this? Okay, let me explain you. Effective cybersecurity is a critical capability for the defense and preservation of civil society. Cybercrime is one of the world's largest and fastest growing categories of crime. Cyber criminals are responsible for stolen funds and other assets, with crime in some segment growing over 300% per year. Cyber espionage is epidemic and pervasive. Even the world's smartest companies and government institutions have terabytes of intellectual property and financial assets being stolen annually over internet. Concealed malicious actors even threaten our electrical power grids, global financial system, air traffic control system, telecommunication systems, healthcare systems, and nuclear power plants. Chances are good that even your current organization is being attacked right now. Cyber criminals, civil military, cyber warriors, and global competitors are deeply entrenched in your network. If you have information worth stealing, it is likely that the attackers are on your internal network, exfiltrating data from your end users and controlling the key administrative nodes. If organizations don't change the way they are defending themselves, personal identifying information, such as bank accounts, credit card details, and intellectual property that defines a competitive advantage, will continue to be stolen. In this module, we are going to have a look at security architecture, anti-pattern, refactored solution for the anti-patterns, cyber anti-patterns concept, forces in cyber anti-patterns, cyber anti-pattern templates, cybersecurity anti-pattern catalog. Looking at the content of this module, that is, you might have observed there are anti-patterns, cyber anti-pattern concept, forces in cyber anti-patterns template, everywhere anti-pattern. Why to start with anti-patterns then? Okay, to successfully make a change, the first step is to admit you have a problem. The civilized world is in a dire pandemic regarding cyber threats. Solving cybersecurity issues requires radically new ways of thinking and, paradoxically, a return to first principles and common sense. In other words, ruthless pragmatism. Anti-patterns employ psychological framework for solving problems whose causes involve habitual mistakes. Anti-patterns require a mind shift from the dispassionate mindsets of mathematics and engineering into the judgmental milieu of enterprise architecture and organizational change. Kindly note that some people have criticized anti-patterns as being anti-intellectual. Anti-patterns are a way of thinking clearly about the habitual causes, serious problems, and effective solutions. Anti-patterns have been summarized by the quip, that is, technology is not the problem, people are the problem. But the changing people's minds is very difficult. So you need a powerful psychology to do that. And also note that the classic paradigm of organizational changes, you send your people out on a wicket bridge toward a pot of gold and then start a fire behind them so that they can never go back to their old ways. Anti-patterns have ancient roots in governance, law enforcement, religion, and public administration. In a pervasive sense, anti-patterns are an adult form of name calling used to control the society. We invent pejorative names and make the public examples of miscreants to prevent other people from misbehaving. For the sake of clear definition, here are a few of examples of modern day social anti-pattern used in general society. First one, a liberal, that is, lily-livered, racist, bigot, terrorist, violent extremist. convict, felon, violent offender, street criminal, thug and gangbanger, drug addict, junkie, corrupt politician, a crook. Words are baggage. Even the term hacker has anti-pattern connotations. Okay, in the beginning of this module, a basic form of anti-pattern will be introduced. The basic anti-pattern includes two parts, that is, a description of an anti-pattern problem and a description of an improved solution called as a refactored solution. In the later part of the chapter, I'll introduce the full anti-pattern template. The security architecture. The cybersecurity crisis is a fundamental failure of architecture. Many of the network technologies we depend upon daily have no effective security whatsoever. It can be seen in networks always play by rules and the pattern in the upcoming topics. The architecture of the internet and the vast majority of deployed software create significant opportunities for malicious exploitation. It is worth stating that if the infrastructure and development technologies were engineered properly, they would be built to withstand known and manage unknown risks, and they would be significantly more secure than today's current technology. In the following sections, we begin the discussion of cybersecurity anti-patterns, including some of the most significant cybersecurity challenges, which includes education. Anti-patterns can be constructed as a cynical depictions of the current state of practice. Negativity and cynicism are not the goal. There are many solutions and patterns for success. Thus, we are going to begin with anti-pattern, signature-based malware detection versus polymorphic threats. The conventional wisdom is that all systems with up-to-date antivirus will be safe. However, many popular antivirus solutions are nearly obsolete, with many missing the majority of new malware. Current signature-based antivirus engine miss 30% to 70% of malicious code and nearly 100% of zero-day infections, which by definition are unreported exploits. Malicious signature growth is exploding from 5 new ones per day in 2000 to 1,500 per day in 2007 and more than 15,000 per day in 2009 according to Symantec. However, today it might be even in terms of lakhs or crores, which is an average of 200% to 300% cumulative growth per year. Malware variability has grown so rapidly that signature-based detection is rapidly becoming obsolete. Also note that each security industry vendor has its own sensor network for gathering and monitoring the malware. For example, Kaspersky Labs has seen flat growth in malware signatures since 2008, while other vendors employ exponential growth. Somewhere in the middle lies the truth. The proliferation of malware signatures is exploding primarily due to polymorphic malware techniques. For example, hash functions used by the signature-based detectors yield very different values with only slight changes to a malicious file. Changing a string literally in the file is sufficient to trigger a false negative. Other polymorphic techniques include varying character encodings, encryption, and random values in the files. One interesting online application from virustotal.com runs more than 30 antivirus programs on each file that any internet user can submit. You can witness just how haphazard antivirus tests are. Factored solution for the same can be reputational, behavioral, and entropy-based malware detection systems. Vendors are developing innovation techniques that can detect zero-day and polymorphic malware. Several promising approaches for future include Symantec. which is harnessing a 100 million plus global customer base to identify potential malware signatures. The technique, called as reputation based signatures, is able to identify 240 million new malware signatures by comparing binaries across millions of systems for anomalous variations. FireEye has created a behavioral intrusion detection system IDS that uses elements of honeypots and content as it flows across the corporate networks. Behavioral IDS techniques simulate the execution of sniffed content in a virtual machine, which then observes resulting configuration changes, such as changes in registry settings, services, and the file system. There are other emerging behavioral antivirus products, for example, from threatfire.com. An emerging field of research called entropy based malware detection looks for mathematical similarity to know to known malware signatures, hash functions that are used by most antivirus programs detect subtle differences between a file and its own hash. Minor changes to files, such as modification of strings or encodings, can cause a hash mismatch. Entropy based matching uses mathematical functions that measure similarity rather than differences. If suspicious file nearly matches the same entropy measure as malware, there is a high likelihood that the malware is present. Next anti-pattern: document driven certification and accreditation. Some of the most fraudulent anti-pattern involves the IT security industry itself. Assessment and authorization (A&A), formerly called as certification and accreditation (C&A), has attracted much public criticism because it has a reputation as a paper-driven process that does not secure systems from real threats. A&A is a process of assuring the information security of systems before they are deployed. Certification is an assessment and testing phase that identifies and confirms vulnerabilities. Accreditation is an executive approval process that accepts the risks discovered during certification. Pre-certification is often an arduous process of security documentation and reviews. In many organizations, certification is problematic. Often, testing is wavered or done very superficially with policy scanners that check registry and configuration settings. In the more rigorous practice of penetration testing, called as pen testing, vulnerabilities are thoroughly explored with state of the art tools followed by actual exploitation, and malicious user tests where unauthorized access are the goal. Although A&A is formalized in the government organization, it is also widely practiced in industry. For example, payment card industry PCI standards require businesses that processes the credit cards, in other words, virtually all retail companies, to conduct penetration tests and other formal assessments. Refactored solutions for this anti-pattern can be derived from the practical security testing and investigation techniques. Proliferating higher standards with no proven benefits. National Institute of Standards and Technology (NIST) is a US government organization with dozens of IT security publications. NIST's latest 800 series of publications are considered the new state-of-the-art gold standard for formalizing IT security controls and managing risks. All these are listed here. To say NIST SP 839, NIST SP 837, 830, 853, 853A. Okay, there is a companion to these documents, the US Committee on National Security System (CNSS) instruction number 1253, which profiles the use of NIST security controls for national security applications. This publication also contains the values for parameters in NIST SP 853 controls. The problem with these guidelines and controls is that they are too voluminous to be applied in practice without extensive automation. A typical list of NIST security controls contains more than 600 requirements for each system. With current technology, the vast majority of these should be evaluated manually. Development schedules, commercial competition, and mission needs simply do not allow the meticulous security audits implied by these huge lists. It will take many years to transition the government and commercial tools to the new NIST standards. On the other hand, to date, a reasonable level of automation has been achieved for pre-existing requirements evaluated by DISA.MIL and ONI.MIL policy test suites. Commercial versions of these tests are available from Application Security Incorporation and EI Digital Security. It will take many years to the transition of the government and commercial tools to the new NIST standards. An open question remains, however, many going through all the trouble to achieve security compliance. Was the effort worthwhile? Are the systems actually more secure compared to the currently emerging threats? Standards are not changing at the same time that the security threats are evolving and morphing into the new attack vectors. There is an excruciating obvious mismatch between the world of highly innovative malware and the stodgy world of never changing standards. A dramatical visual example of this anti-pattern is the security policy landscape for the global information grid as shown in the next slide. Global information grid policy landscape. Oh, look at the figure. The diagram is really as unintelligible as it looks. Even if you could read it, the diagram lists more than 200 separate policies and standard documents, grouped into 17 categories. There is no way that anyone could understand all this complexity, much less applies it to every system in the enterprise. This is an obvious lack of common sense and completely contrary to the pragmatic way of solving problems. A key use of this anti-pattern is that many individuals equate complexity with quality. If we have so very many policies and standards from NIST and rest of the government, it must be very good, right? How could it be any other way? SANS Institute, a leading provider of hands-on cyber training, has suggested publicly that the paper compliance-driven security regimes should be replaced by hands-on technical security expertise. So the refactored solution for this anti-pattern is out of the scope for our discussion. Next anti-pattern, policy-driven security certifications do not address the threat. The gold standard of professional security certifications is the Certified Information System Security Professional CISSP. It is an entirely paper-based qualification requiring a great deal of memorization in 10 diverse security domains such as physical security, communication security, and systems security. CISSP is required by the US Department of Defense (DoD) for both management and technical security workers and demanded in the job market. Anecdotally, the presumed goal of this certification is to produce articulate security professionals who can communicate effectively with upper management. But what does that have to do with combating emergency cyber threats? This paradox was addressed by the Center of Strategic and International Studies (CSIS), which released the Presidential Commission report, A Human Capital Crisis in Cybersecurity. The report states clearly that the current professional certification regime is not merely inadequate, It creates a dangerously false sense of security with an overemphasis on security compliance on paper versus combating threats. Many people in cybersecurity community view this finding as controversial because their careers, reputations and credentials are invested in security compliance policies and procedures. This is the industry that drives A&A risk management, security controls compliance and other labor intensive security activities. Unfortunately, for most professionals, it is much easier to turn a highly technical person into a policy person, whereas it is very difficult or even impossible to turn a policy person into a highly technical one. It is a one-way street. Refactored solution. Security training roadmap. One approach is through professional training in hands-on skills. Science Institute and an handful of other places will deliver this particular skills. Other than that, the following is a recommended list of specialized skills that should be available on demand in IT security shops. First one, network device specialist. Vendor certified specialist with deep knowledge for debugging and configuring the network devices in your enterprise. For example, routers and firewalls. Applicable certifications can be from Cisco and any other networking vendors. Operating System Security Specialist. Specialist in configuration and hardening the security of each operating system in your environment. Applicable certifications are from Microsoft, Oracle, and so on. Third one, Database Security Specialist. Specialist in configuring the security of specific database types in your environment. Applicable certifications and training from Oracle, Sybase Application Security Incorporation, Wellhouse, Open Source, and other database specialists. System Forensics Specialist. Specialist in in-depth analysis of systems, creating chains of evidence, and other forensic investigation techniques. Applicable training can be from Defense Cybercrime Center, Science Institute, Guidance Software, Access Data, and other forensic specialists. And finally, we have Reverse Engineering Malware Specialist, security researcher who captures malware and analyzes its characteristics with the goal of permanent eradication from your networks. Applicable education and training from Science Institute, Invisible Thing Lab, Black Hat Sources, and other security researchers.